Everyone said the same thing about her. Stay away, don't touch her, she's wild. For almost a year, this cat lived in the shadows of a quiet neighborhood, and not a single person could get near her. She hissed, she spat, she bared her teeth at anyone who came too close. People called her feral, dangerous, a lost cause. But they were all wrong, because behind those angry eyes and that open, snarling mouth was a heart that had simply never been given a reason to trust, and one man was about to prove it. His name was Daniel, and he almost didn't notice her that first night. It was late, it was raining, and there, crouched beneath a rusted old car, was a pair of glowing green eyes staring back at him. He stopped. He crouched down slowly, and the moment he reached out his hand, she exploded. A sharp hiss, a swipe of claws, then she vanished into the dark. Most people would have walked away right there. Daniel didn't, because something in those frightened eyes stayed with him, something he couldn't shake. To understand her fear, you have to understand where she came from. Nobody knew her whole story, but the pieces told enough. She had been living on the streets for a long time, long enough to forget what a gentle hand felt like, long enough to believe that every human meant danger. The people on that block had names for her: the wild one, the mean cat, the one nobody could catch. Kids were told to keep their distance, neighbors shooed her off their porches, and slowly she learned to expect nothing from anyone. So she built walls, big ones. She hissed before you could hurt her. She ran before you could trap her. Her long, matted fur and that fierce, open-mouthed snarl became her armor against a world that had never once been kind to her. Winters were the hardest. She'd curl up under that old car, shivering, listening to the rain hammer down around her. No warm bed, no gentle voice, no one to check if she made it through the night. She survived on scraps and instinct alone, and every day she woke up a little more convinced that this was all life would ever be. But somewhere deep down beneath all that fear, a part of her still ached for something more. But Daniel saw past all of it. He started leaving food by that same old car. Every single night, same time, same spot. He didn't try to grab her, he didn't force anything. He just sat a few feet away, quietly, and let her eat. The first night, she waited until he left. The second night, she ate while watching him from a distance. By the end of the first week, she stayed while he was still there, tense, ready to bolt. But she stayed. It was a start. Still, progress was painfully slow. Some nights she wouldn't show up at all, and Daniel would sit in the cold, worried sick, wondering if something had happened to her, wondering if he'd ever see those green eyes again. Then, just when he'd lose hope, she'd reappear, and every time she did, she came a little closer. If this story is already tugging at your heart, do me one small favor. Look down at that subscribe button. It's still not pressed, is it? It would mean the world to me if you fixed that right now. It's free, and it helps these little souls get seen. Now, let me tell you what happened next. Weeks turned into a full month, and one cold night, everything shifted. Daniel was sitting in his usual spot, food in hand, not expecting much. She approached like always, eyes locked on him, body low to the ground. But this time, she didn't stop 3 feet away. She kept coming, closer and closer, until her small nose was almost touching his fingers. He held perfectly still. He barely breathed. And then it happened. She pressed the top of her head into his open palm, just for a second. But it was everything. That was the first time anyone had touched her in years without getting scratched. The wild cat that no one could get near had chosen, on her own terms, to trust one single person. Daniel later said he had to fight back tears in that moment because he understood what it meant. A cat like her doesn't give her trust easily. When she gives it completely.
He didn't move, he didn't grab, he just let her decide how far to go. And that patience, that quiet respect for her fear, was the very thing that finally cracked her open. She had spent her whole life running from hands that wanted to control her. This was the first hand that only wanted to comfort her. She felt the difference. From that night on, everything changed. She started meeting him at the corner. Then she started following him. A few nights later, when he stood up to leave, she walked right behind him all the way to his door and sat down on the step, looking up at him, as if to say, "Aren't you going to let me in?" He did. He opened the door, and she walked into a warm home for the very first time in her life. No more rain, no more cold pavement, no more hiding under broken cars. He named her Willow. Those first few days inside were still hard. Old habits don't disappear overnight. She flinched at loud sounds. She hid under the couch when strangers came. That defensive hiss still slipped out when she felt cornered. But every day, the walls came down a little more. She discovered soft blankets. She learned that food came every morning without fail. She figured out that the hand reaching toward her wasn't there to hurt her, but to scratch that perfect spot behind her ears. And slowly, the fierce, snarling street cat began to melt into something no one had ever seen in her before, a cuddler. It started small, a paw resting on his arm while he watched TV, then curling up at the foot of his bed. Then, one quiet evening, she climbed straight into his lap, tucked her head beneath his chin, and began to purr. That deep, rumbling purr filled the whole room. The cat everyone called Wild was now falling asleep in the arms of the one person who refused to give up on her. Moments like these are exactly why these stories deserve to be shared with the whole world. Daniel often thinks about that first rainy night, about how close he came to walking away, about how one small decision to stay, to be patient, to keep showing up, completely changed both of their lives. Willow isn't the wild one anymore. She greets him at the door every single day. She sleeps curled against his chest every single night. And when he reaches out his hand now, she doesn't flinch or hiss. She leans in. The neighbors who once warned everyone to stay away can hardly believe it's the same cat, but Daniel knows the truth. She was never really wild. She was just scared. She was just waiting for someone to see the heart behind the fear. And when someone finally did, she loved him with everything she had. Because that's the thing about the ones nobody wants, the ones who hiss and scratch and run. They're not broken, they're not dangerous, they're just protecting a heart that has been hurt too many times. Give them patience, give them time, give them a reason to believe, and they will give you a love so deep and so loyal, it will bring you to tears. Willow was proof of that. She went from a snarling shadow beneath a rusted car to a soft, purring soul curled up safe in the arms of the man who saw her when no one else would. Sometimes the ones everyone calls wild are simply waiting for the right person to call them home. So let me ask you this, was Willow ever really wild, or was she just waiting for someone to love her the right way? Tell me what you believe in the comments below.